Last video we talked about the imperfecto or the imperfect and what you do with the verb that ends in AR. So for this video we're going to talk about the imperfecto in los verbos que terminan en ER or ER, ER and IR. And just like in the preterite, any verb that ends in ER or IR is going to have the same ending. So you don't have to worry about a separate set of endings for ER and a separate set of endings for IR verbs. Just like with the AR verbs, there are actually only 3 irregular verbs that end in ER or IR. Any other verb that you have when you're using the imperfect, if it ends in ER or IR, are going to use these endings. I'll go over the 3 irregulars in just a minute. The endings you're going to use for yo is ia, and yes, this is an accent mark. All of them have accent marks. Tú, ias, él, ella, or usted, you're going to use ia. Nosotros, you're going to use íamos. And for ellos, ellas, ustedes, you're going to use ian. And again, it's going to work the same exact way. If you have a verb that ends in E or I, or you need to use the imperfect, it's going to work like we've done with any other verb we've used this year. For example, we can take comer. Recuerda que comer se dice to eat. Okay, so if you wanted to say we ate something, then you're going to obviously use the nosotros form. So you're going to drop your ER and you're going to add your appropriate ending, which would be íamos. So you have comíamos. That would be an example of an ER verb. An IR verb could be escribir. Recuerda que escribir se dice to write, so we're trying to say wrote in the imperfect. Let's say if we wanted to say you wrote, then we would take off our IR. We would add our appropriate ending, which is ias. So we would say escribías. Make sure you don't forget your accent marks. Okay? There are 3 irregular verbs in the imperfect. There's only 3. You'll watch a separate video to learn those 3 verbs, but just really quickly so that you know, I'm going to write the 3 up here. Ser, ir, and ver. And if you think about it, ser and ir are usually really crazy irregular, so it makes sense. And then ver just has a small spelling change that we'll get to in the next video. But besides these 3, any verb that ends in ER and IR, you're going to take off the ER, the IR, and add your appropriate endings. And just to review, any verb that ends in AR, any verb, there are no irregulars when you're using the imperfect. You're going to take off the AR and add these appropriate endings. And like I said in the last video, we're going to talk about this more later, but the imperfect is used to talk about things in the past that happen continuously or repeatedly. Thanks for watching.